Now imagine returning home to find every homeowner's nightmare. Your floors are flooded, all because of one broken pipe. Every day, thousands of homeowners face this exact same horror, costing an average of $5,000 in repairs. So today we're going to be taking a look at one such solution to this problem, the Aqara Valve Controller T1. This might just be your 24/7 first line of defense, shutting off the water automatically at the first sign of any leak. So let's take a look at how this small device could save both your home and your wallet. Hi there neighbors, I'm Ryan the Tech Guy, and welcome back to This Smart House, your go-to for the latest in smart home technology and automations. So today I've got something that could potentially save you from a big unexpected mess and thousands of dollars in repair bills. Now I've previously looked at shutoff valves from both Dome and Yolink, but today we're going to be looking at the latest offering from Acara. So a big thank you goes out to Acara for sending over the T1 ahead of this week's product launch. So let's talk about one of every homeowner's fears, water damage. Imagine coming home from vacation or even a night out to find your floors flooded and everything from your flooring to your appliances soaked. Sometimes they can even ruin your walls, all because of a single broken pipe. Water damage is a significant concern for homeowners, accounting for approximately 29.4% of all home insurance claims. And as I mentioned before, the average repair cost for these incidents is around $5,000, though this can vary depending on what the extent of the damage and what specific items were ruined. And if you have a multi-story home and a pipe burst upstairs, it can ruin everything under it. And while regular checkups and maintenance might help, they're not foolproof, especially if the leak happens when you're not around. But it isn't all bad news. As automation evolves and smart home tech can now detect leaks and shut off your water, this can potentially save you thousands, all without even having to lift a finger. So that's where the new Aqara Valve Controller T1 comes in. So I first saw this smart valve pop up at CES 2024 back in January. When you combine the valve controller with a leak sensor and a hub, this will keep an eye out for leaks around the clock and automatically shut off your water at the first sign of any trouble. Now this compact device will actually attach to your existing valve with no major modifications, making it a DIY-friendly option for adding a peace of mind to your home. And what I like most about this is it's compatible with even more valve types and sizes. So even if you have an older home, you should still be able to use it. So let's take a look at the features of the T1 valve controller. Now to use the T1 valve controller, you need a Zigbee hub. It's recommended to go with one of Acara's hubs like the M2 or M3. However, most Acara Zigbee products are eventually supported by open source projects like Zigbee to MQTT. So if you do choose to use an M3 hub, for example, you aren't limited to just the Acara ecosystem, because the T1 supports Matter. And if your hub can act as a Matter bridge, then you can share your valve out to other smart home systems. So for example, I have mine connected via the M3 hub. This means I can control it with the Acara app and connect some of my Acara leak sensors. I can then set up automations all from inside the M3 hub. Or I can choose to share it out to Google Home, Alexa, SmartThings, or my choice, Home Assistant. This means you can have leak sensors from other brands and use them to trigger the T1 to safely shut off your water. Now, unlike some other valve controllers that I've worked with, the T1 works with both lever handles and butterfly handle valves on DN15, 20, and 25 pipes. That's 1/4 inch, 3/4 inch, and 1 inch pipes for most of us here in the US. This wide compatibility means the T1 fits right on most homes. And even if you haven't adopted Matter in your home, you can still connect your Acara hub to the most popular voice assistants. This means you can even control it with your voice. But you might want to be careful so your kids don't actually shut the water off while you're in the shower. Now the T1 runs off of 4 AA batteries that are set to last up to about 2 years on a single set. That's pretty huge for a device that's on guard 24/7. And it means you can rely on it without constant battery changes. This also means if you have your smart home system on a battery backup, the valve can open or close even if your power is out and a leak is detected. The next cool feature is the valve actually has an automatic self-check. So every 30 days, the system's going to prompt you to close and open the valve. This way you can ensure the system is working and nothing is rusted shut. There's nothing worse than expecting something like this to work in an emergency and not able to do its job. In addition, you can press the manual release button and move the arm by itself. This is a great backup just in case you need it. Plus it makes installation a little bit easier. So now included in the box there are 2 different mounting kits. One for a standard 1/4 turn valve and one for a butterfly style valve. Now the manual has a pretty detailed set of instructions on how to install it for your particular valve. For example, my home only has 1/4 turn lever valves. So installation is pretty simple. The first thing you're going to want to do is turn off the valve to make sure it can open and close cleanly. If not, you might need to add some lubricant to it. Worst case scenario, it might need to be replaced. So next up, you're going to use the mounting bracket to attach the valve controller to the front edge of your pipe. Then you're going to want to use the manual override to align the arm to the edge of your valve. One thing to note is make sure that the pivot point of the arm and the pivot point of your valve line up exactly. That way, there's no chance of it snapping or straining when it tries to open or close the valve. There is a plastic shim included in case you're using a smaller pipe and you need to tighten up the connection between the mounting clamp and your pipe. For the next step, we need to add the screw and tighten down the bracket onto the pipe. Make sure this is snug so the valve controller doesn't come loose. So the next step, once we get everything tightened down, is to press the manual override button and actuate the valve open and close to make sure everything is smooth. Once you've confirmed that, then you can just press the control button on here to test and make sure that it can smoothly open and close the valve. One thing to note, if you are installing this on a 1-inch pipe, you'll need to use the pipe clamp instead of the actual hard bracket. Now, the other half of this system that's super important is a leak sensor. These are just the standard Aqara leak sensors, and you want to make sure you place them in locations around your home where you could have high risks for leaks. Now, unfortunately, you can't cover every square inch of your home, so you need to be strategic about where you want to place these. Now, the first common location to put these is under sinks. This not only covers a leak under the sink, but can also catch an overflow. This actually happened to me because one of my kids was playing on the counter in the basement. They turned on the water and it sprayed over the backsplash. The automation kicked in, shut off the water, and saved me from a big mess to clean up. Another great location is behind major appliances with water lines, like washers, dryers, yes, some dryers do have water attachments, refrigerators, and dishwashers. Now, my neighbor actually had his washing machine leak over a long weekend, and he ended up having to replace the majority of his garage ceiling because it leaked down and completely ruined the garage ceiling. And another place you might want to put a sensor is any low spots in your basement where any water might gather. This would be a good early warning indicator that something might be leaking, like your hot water heater. So if you are using an Aqara hub, adding this in is very simple. You just press the plus button in the app, go to Add Accessory. If it doesn't find the device automatically, just scroll down and find the valve controller and follow the instructions to get it paired. Once you have it paired, you can actually control the valve from the app by toggling the switch on or off. You can associate any Aqara sensors with it. This creates an automatic automation to where if it detects a leak, it's going to automatically shut the valve. So right out of the box, if you're using an Aqara sensor and you're using the valve controller together, you don't really need to set up any additional automations. You can have it automatically send you notifications and open and close the valve within the app. Or you can set a timer where you can set an amount of time you want the valve to be on and then turn off automatically. But if you want to take it a step further, you can actually create an automation that's going to send you a variety of notifications and set off the buzzer or siren on the hub itself. So to do that, we go over to the Automations tab, and we're going to set up two separate automations. The first one is if leak is detected. So we're going to use the leak sensor as our input. Then we want to do two things. One, send ourselves a push notification, and two, set off a siren sound on the hub. So we can set a default or custom notification if we want, and then if we go into the hub, we can set an alarm sound, and that's going to let us select from one of the pre-built sounds in here. You can also create your own MP3s and upload them if you want to use text-to-speech. Now that's great, but you want to make sure you create a second automation because I accidentally did this and the siren kept going off and annoying all my kids. So we want to create a second automation. If the water recedes, so again, we're taking the leak sensor as our input, but we're using the opposite state. When it dries out or the leak recedes, we want it to stop the ringtone and flickering light, which is a function on the hub. Now, all this automation does is set off notifications because we're using the Aqara leak sensor, it automatically shuts off when it detects water. Now, I'd recommend not adding an automatic turn back on of water because you want to investigate the leak first. That's why I don't have that included in the all clear automation. Of course, if you want to integrate this with Matter or another system, you can have it send you notifications, text-to-speech on your Google Homes, a variety of options. So you're not just limited to using the options in the Acara app. So in my opinion, the best feature of the Aqara Valve Controller T1 is its price point. It comes in at just $69, making it an incredibly affordable option for homeowners seeking reliable water shutoff, without having to invest in a much larger system. Plus, with its compatibility with both butterfly and lever valves, it offers flexibility that's perfect for a variety of setups. So when it comes to looking at smart valve controllers, there are generally two categories of options. So first, there are these retrofittable valve controllers like the Aqara T1, the Yolink Evo, and the Dome Z-Wave valve. These are designed to be attached directly to an existing valve. These are great for DIY setups as they don't require plumbing modifications. Next up, we have the integrated inline controllers with meters, such as the Flow by Moen, the Fin Plus, and Yolinks FlowSmart line. These are installed within the plumbing line, meaning you actually have to cut into your plumbing line and add this in addition to your emergency shutoff valve. These models do bring features like advanced water monitoring and leak detection, but come at a significantly higher price and often need professional installation if you're not comfortable with that. So if you look at some of these integrated systems, the Flow by Moen comes in at $500, and the Fin Plus is priced at $579. While looking at the Yolink FlowSmart, it comes in around $479. All these are high-end solutions that include advanced leak detection and monitoring, but come at that higher price tag. Now, a mid-range option that's come out recently is the new Yolink FlowSmart Ultrasonic that comes in at $239. This offers a budget-friendly choice that still lets you track your water usage, but again, comes with the trade-off of having to cut into your home's water lines. So I really think if you're looking for an affordable, flexible retrofit option, the T1 cannot be beat at $69. Plus, it has the ability to fit both butterfly and lever valves. It's a fantastic choice, offering essential protection at a budget-friendly price. You can even install it on a gas line if you really want to. If you are interested in picking up the Aqara Valve Controller T1, it actually just launched this week, and you can find it through the links down in the description. If you do use these, it goes to help support the channel, and I'd really appreciate it if you check them out. Now, if you haven't already seen my overview of Acara's latest flagship hub, the M3, you can check out my previous video right over here. Or if you want to check out my other leak and water videos, you can find those right over here. Thank you for making it this far, and I'll see you on the next video.